Facial recognition cameras will become a permanent fixture in one London suburb, marking the first fixed deployment of this technology in the UK ever. The Met Police announced today that the technology will be used in Croydon permanently as part of a pilot project. However, I, like you, have serious concerns that this might just roll out across the entire country. Starting this summer, these cameras will scan passers-by, instantly checking them against a database of wanted criminals, including rapists and burglars. Officers are then alerted if there is a match, but the data, they say, is immediately deleted if there isn't, and the cameras are being credited with helping police make hundreds of arrests so far. I mean, some privacy campaigners have, of course, raised major concerns, branding the move as part of a dystopian nightmare. There have even been unconfirmed reports that the cameras have led police to arrest the wrong person. Joining me now is GB News superstar Bev Turner. Bev, thank you very much. Look, some people will clearly say we have spiralling rapes, sexual assaults and knife crime, and therefore anything that can clamp down on that or help to is a good thing. Where are you?
And that is what we're meant to think about this technology, Patrick. But I would just say to people, we have never had so much CCTV in our country, and we have never been less safe. So even on a basic metric, it just isn't working. This is facial recognition, live facial recognition, has not been voted for by the public. It has not even been voted for in Parliament. It is operating completely out of any sort of legislative jurisdiction. And actually, when you say there are cases which haven't been verified as to whether there have been mistaken identities, there actually are. And Big Brother Watch, which is an amazing organisation, a civil liberties organisation, campaigning group, they have cases on their website, and in fact, they're fundraising at the moment. And to give you an example, there's a guy on their website that they talk about, Sean Thompson, who works for an amazing organisation called Street Fathers, and they work with boys that might go into crime. And Sean was actually working for them, and he's a black guy, and actually ethnic minorities are much more likely to be misidentified by this technology. And Sean was working for his organisation. On his way home, he gets collared by 3 or 4 police officers who get him in a corner and say, "We've just recognised your face from our camera." And he said, it's not me, it's genuinely not me. And even the police sort of admitted it probably wasn't him, and he had his passport. And he said, "Look, I'm a youth worker. I get kids off the street, I get them away from crime." But they still kept him for half an hour and massively inconvenienced his life. There are other examples, because it's not just the police, Patrick, that have these powers. It's private companies who will stop people going into shops if they think that they're a shoplifter, and it isn't always accurate. And there's a case on Silky Carla's website, as I say, on Big Brother Watch, of a young girl who got misidentified. She was newly at university in Manchester, and she talks about the fact that she was crying, she was embarrassed, she was humiliated. She'd never been in the shop before, she'd just moved to town, and she was told by the company that it was human error that had given rise to that misidentification. But it's okay, it's only human error. And that poor girl now feels like she can't prove her innocence for a long time. She said she had days where she couldn't prove it wasn't her, so it does go wrong.
I mean, there's been a case that I heard of a bloke who was wrongly identified as a suspected murderer, and that's quite a hard thing to get shaken off, isn't it? But it's also, for me anyway, just completely ridiculous. I don't know about you, Bev, but every time I'm out and I get on the London Underground or I go out, I just go outside the studio, actually, there's always lads, and it almost is always lads, who've got the full balaclavas on or masks on, and you think, well, who's this facial recognition technology really going to catch? Do you trust them when they say, they promise you that they are deleting all of this data if it doesn't match any crimes?
Well, of course not. And I would say, even if they're doing that now, the other question that I always ask people when we talk about this surveillance, you know, we've seen all sorts of people, even it's not even about the Labour Party. All the parties are all kind of united on this. You know, Chris Philp, the Shadow Home Secretary, was saying it's a logical step in our crime fighting. They're all sort of assuming this is just going to happen, and nobody's really questioning it. I say to people, who is the politician you hate most in the world, be that alive or dead? People will often say, you know, Donald Trump or whatever at the moment. I think picture the politician you hate the most and imagine this power in their hands. It might be left, it might be right, it doesn't matter actually. You know, during the pandemic, I was on the government's watch list. They had a file on me because of the position that I took during that period of time. I had to ask for that with a subject access request. So I was considered to be a threat to the state. I now feel fully vindicated for the things that I was saying, in fact. But that's the danger with this. When the crime can be just plucked out of thin air, then that is any of us on the street, Patrick. We work for TV News. It's very controversial.
Well, and it's the extent.
It's
the extension of use as well. You know, if they bring things in like you're not allowed to smoke in parks anymore, and they slap a facial recognition, and I'm in an empty park at 2 o'clock in the morning, and don't ask why I'm there, of course, but it's about 2 o'clock in the morning having a cigarette. I mean, do I get a £60 fine through? If we have another kind of lockdown, it's the extension of these powers, isn't it? Bev, look, just before I go to the Metropolitan Police statement here, I've been told in my ear, thank you very much for making an appearance, especially so late in the evening, because I know you have to be back in here early in the morning. I believe you are actually in your pyjamas, aren't you? You've just managed to throw a jacket on.
You told you that, Patrick Christie's. I've got my thermal leggings on, look. I'll give you just because it's you, I'll give you a shot of my thermal leggings. Yeah, I have got my pyjamas on, Patrick.
Well, thank you very much.
Only for you do I stay awake late at night. There you
go. Thank you. Well, Bev, you take care. I'll be watching tomorrow, the wonderful Bev Turner there. Now, a Met spokesperson said this. The Met is committed to making London safer using data and technology to identify offenders that pose a risk to our communities. Last year, we made more than 500 arrests using LFRs, facial recognition, removing dangerous individuals who were suspected of serious offences, including strangulation, stalking, domestic abuse and rape. We continue to engage with our communities to build understanding about how this technology works.